missed quite a bit of time, but there were issues last year. Do you sense that the same things are reproducing this year so far?
No.
How tough is it? I mean, you don't play on PK, so how tough is it to get your rhythm with the team? You get a lot of penalties in the game.
I mean, that's a team thing. It's not anybody's fault. I think we just got to stay out of the box, and we're a pretty good team 5-on-5. So we're focused on taking less penalties and kind of keeping the game 5-on-5.
But for you play less when there's a lot of penalties. So is it tougher to get your own rhythm?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you want to be out there, and things like that are tough. Get to play for 2 minutes, but I mean, it's part of the game. It happens.
Do you expect some changes tomorrow regarding lines or combination?
I'm not sure. I guess we'll see tomorrow.
Do you think that Marty were looking for sparks? I mean, just to.
I think we're 3 games in. I don't. We're 1-1-1, so I don't think we need to be freaking out just yet.
What do you expect from Washington on the other side?
Probably a hungry team. I know they had a tough game, their past games, so they'll be ready to go. They got a lot of veterans in the lineup, and we'll be ready for that.
Cole, I mentioned you watched Alex a lot as a kid growing up. What did you maybe learn from him about scoring goals, or just taking from watching him?
Can't score if you don't shoot. I think that's probably the best thing. I think nobody gets more excited, to be on the ice for a goal or to score. So that's probably one thing I learned the most.
Cole, there was a part of the meeting this morning with Marty. What was the main message of Marty?
I think it's all about playing between guys. I think we're kind of putting ourselves in a situation to not have as much time and space, and it's all about setting the next guy up for success. So it's all things that we can control, and obviously we're working with that. Losing Kirby, Andy's in now, so it's going to take time, but we're learning from our mistakes, and practice is huge in these situations.
Does it change a lot having Anderson instead of Kirby Dack in the way you approached him on the power play, or not really the same format?
It's a little different. Obviously, it's Kirby's a hell of a player, and someone that you want with the puck on the stick, as much as possible. So, things change. I think, but nothing too much that we have to worry about.
Thanks, Cole.
Thank you very much. Merci.
Je suis juste un gars qui travaille fort, puis je veux être le meilleur que je peux être. Donc, je suis compétitif, puis ça va amener avec ça des fois.
Vous avez un meeting relativement long concernant l'avantage numérique ce matin, sans nous dire exactement ce qui s'est dit, mais j'imagine que vous attendez à des changements rapides quand même.
Je pense que c'est sûr qu'on aimerait ça, mais ça ne veut pas dire que ça va venir. Je pense que c'est juste on essaie le plus possible de commencer à se connaître le plus vite possible, puis avoir le chemistry le plus vite possible pour avoir plus de résultats.
Selon toi, qu'est-ce qui ne fonctionne pas présentement?
Je pense que si on avait toutes les réponses, on pourrait changer les choses aussi vite qu'on voulait. Mais en même temps, je pense que des fois, c'est quelque chose où tu as juste besoin de scorer un but puis tout est correct. Donc, non, je pense que on est tous compétitifs, on veut tous être le meilleur qu'on peut. Donc, c'est pas facile, mais ça veut pas dire qu'on est frustrés, nous 5 ou quelque chose comme ça, de l'un de l'autre, quelque chose comme ça. C'est vraiment juste, on est compétitif puis on veut être le meilleur qu'on peut.
C'est la cohésion pour toi, la cohésion ne marche pas, ou bien non, tu penses que vous êtes à un point où il faut changer aussi les trucs tactiques?
Honnêtement, je pense que ça vaut pas la peine d'en parler trop. Je pense que c'est quelque chose qu'on en parle ensemble comme équipe. Puis, on continue à travailler dessus. Puis c'est sûr qu'on va pas arrêter juste parce que c'est difficile ou ça va pas bien. Ça veut pas dire qu'on va relâcher.
Martin, hier, il a utilisé le mot confiance, Mike, dans sa conférence de presse avec nous. Puis on regardait ce matin, ça semblait tête un peu, vous sembliez tête sur la glace. Vous voulez avoir des résultats peut-être. Est-ce que déjà il y a un peu de ça? La confiance qui est peut-être un peu moins ou plus effritée peut-être?
Non, je pense que la confiance est encore là. Je pense que c'est juste. Je pense que c'est 5 gars qui sont compétitifs, puis on veut faire le meilleur qu'on peut. C'est vraiment juste ça.
What do you
important,
guys have
c'est-
to do to stay out of the box? I mean, the penalties have obviously been a huge problem.
Yeah, they have been. I think they've been coming in different shapes and sizes, and so I think it's just one of those things that, sometimes it goes in waves and you're getting hit with a lot, and so I think just keeping it in the back of your mind helps a lot.
Is it anything to do with how the game might be called right now? That you guys have to be more alert to things?
No,
being called
I
in
think
better?
it's stuff that we're doing ourselves. I think there's been cases where we've put ourselves in a situation where something could be called and maybe it doesn't, but we're still putting ourselves in those situations. So avoiding that will help.
Martin, c'est un coach qui communique quand même assez facilement. C'est plus facile, Mike aussi. Communiquer quand il y a une situation comme ça.
It's a good thing. I mean, like I said, that's a good thing to see.
Is it a confidence thing at some point that happens?
I don't think so. I mean, I've played on the power play basically my whole career, and I mean, you can go in. I mean, I've been in slumps too, and other teams, and I think sometimes it just takes one to go in, and you kind of get that feeling. And next time you're out there, you're eager to get the puck in your hands or put the puck in the net. So I mean, every time we get a power play, we got to create momentum.
In your opinion, Sean, what's the main problem with the power play right now?
Not scoring goals. I mean, it's you want to create momentum on the power play. I mean, we gave up 2 on the power play, which is unacceptable. And yeah, I mean, we got to make reads, be confident in what we're doing, and obviously there's a lot that goes into it with retrievals, winning faceoffs, good positioning, getting pucks to the net. And I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes you just want to keep it simple.
Do you guys have enough familiarity with all the injuries last year, you being out for so much time, to be able to create more movement of bodies? Everyone talks about puck movement, but just being able to leave your position and take another one, how critical is that?
Yeah, no, that's huge too. I mean, sometimes even on an entry, you can come in and maybe I'll be on the flank or maybe I'll be in the bumper and someone's got to fill in low. So I mean, yeah, I think we got to work on it, but I think I'm confident in the group that we have, and I think it's going to be a real good power play.
How similar is it to last year when you were playing at the start of the season? Have there been a lot of changes, or is it still the same formula a little bit?
No, it changes for sure. I mean, and I think you change your strategies, who you're playing against, and how other teams penalty kill. So I think you got to make reads and I mean talk about it amongst the group. So I think the biggest thing is everyone being on the same page, and I think we are. And I mean, when it's not going your way, it gets frustrating, but you got to work through that.
We didn't see your lines the last two practice. Do you expect some changes tomorrow?
I have no idea. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Do you feel like Marty wants sparks for tomorrow regarding lines combination?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're on home ice. We didn't have a great game, our last one, and I mean, you want to come out with energy. You want to come out and play to win every time around the ice. So I think there could be changes, there might not be, and I mean, as a group, we're ready to go. We're excited about tomorrow.
But do the players have a strategy on that one?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got ideas, and you can chime in and stuff like that. And I think everybody knows what works, and I mean, sometimes it's hard to actually, I guess, execute it. But yeah, I mean, everybody knows what we're doing, and you talk about it. You can talk to the coaches. Everybody's got an open mind, and yeah, I mean, I know we're going to work through this and it'll be a great power play.
Alex Ovechkin's coming here, and for the first time in 1,548 games, he was locked out of getting a shot on net for 2 consecutive games. If you were in his shoes, would you be worried about that, or feeling like the next game you're...
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, he's a special player. He's scored a ton of goals, and I mean, I mean, you always got to be aware when he's on the ice, especially on the power play. So I think, we want to try and keep that the same and keep that rolling. But we got to keep an eye on him every time he's on the ice.
How nuts is that stats? The fact that Ovechkin hasn't had 2 straight games without shots in his whole career.
Speed. It's got all the combination. It curves, it dips, it dives. It's a lot of things that a lot of guys can't do, and I think obviously it goes to the testament of how big of a man he is and how strong he is. A lot of the times his pucks will move on the fly too. It's not a straight shot, and so it's you got to be in the right position a lot of the time. A lot of it's not reactionary; it's more positional based, and best goal scorer of all time. He's for a reason.
Having on your team Caufield who likes to shoot from the same spot, hard shot too, is it helpful for you?
Cole's been nice to me in practice. He keeps it a little bit lower, but I think different players, different shooting styles. Always more power and speed and big slap shot. Where Cole's picks and chooses his spots and is probably a bit more of a playmaker over there too. Likes to move up and down, but similar concepts, no question. But I think the way, if you go back and watch Ovi's career, I don't know how many percentage of his goals are from that dot, where I think Cole probably scores a few different more ways.
Seeing there was a little bit of frustration this morning during practice from the guys practicing the power play. Is that part of the, with Kent saying that there's more expectations on the team this year, is that just also a sign of that, of a little bit higher expectations in the guys already frustrated at just 3 games in?
I don't think, it's practice, sometimes practices go awesome for you, sometimes they're tough, I don't think you take anything into it, and it shows guys care. Guys care and are appreciative of what they're trying to do out there. They don't just want to go put their stick on the ice and practice just to practice. You got to practice to the purpose, and I think that's the way I take it. These guys care, and it's a good sign. It's not a bad sign. It's a sign that it's important for this group, and they want to try to take that power play and help this group. So I think it's a good thing.
It's still a young group, Jake, so would you say that when it's tough, it's looked tougher?
Yeah, sometimes, no question. And I think we're still going to have situations like that if you look at it realistically throughout the year. And that's fine. That's the way it's going to be. We have to accept it. We have to find ways, when we know we're in those tough times, to find ways to get out of them. Find ways to change the momentum, maybe simplify things a little bit, maybe a little bit less thinking and more just going out there and playing the game instead of overthinking it, but it's going to happen. But I think when we're playing our game, we show through the first couple of games when we're on, and we're really on. So those blunders are going to happen. It's just trying to find a way to get back to your game as quick as you can.
On the PK subject, I know it's not the way that you guys want actually, but as a goalie, sometimes we say that the goalie is very important on the PK. Do you put this extra pressure on your shoulder because of it's tough on the PK?
No, not really. I think we're all trying to figure it out. Obviously, we got some work to do, no question, and we're going to get to where we want to go. And it's not going to happen overnight. I think that's one thing we talked about here. Things just don't switch like that. Maybe for some players and some teams, but right now we're still trying to work those kinks out, but hopefully get a little bit better, tomorrow, and then the Buffalo, and then against the Jersey. But yeah, it's we're trying some new things this year, and sometimes it's good to be uncomfortable. Sometimes that's what you need, to be uncomfortable to make a difference, to get to where you want to go. So no real difference, but looking for a good standout tomorrow.
Merci, Jake.
Yes.
Mind for to repeat, Jake.
souligner, d'améliorer dans vos exécutions, dans votre jeu de puissance? Est-ce que vous faites face peut-être actuellement à un petit peu d'adversité dans ce département-là?
Ben, moi, je le vois pas comme ça. C'est sûr, on a, à part que Kirby est blessé, je trouve pas qu'on vit de l'adversité. On essaie de s'améliorer. On est 3 games dans la saison. Je sens pas qu'on a de l'adversité.
Actuellement, est-ce que tu cherches peut-être, sans dire que c'est dramatique, mais à obtenir une étincelle, je ne sais pas, quelque chose de... On n'a pas vu des combinaisons beaucoup cette semaine, à part peut-être hier en fin d'entraînement. Est-ce que tu veux garder un peu tout le monde sur le qui-vive ou est-ce que tu sais déjà comment tu vas arranger tes combinaisons de trio pour demain? Cherches-tu à faire des changements ou...
Je sais pas encore, mais aujourd'hui puis hier, c'est 2 journées de travail. On travaille sur des choses, il faut qu'on s'améliore. C'est pas comme si je cherche une étincelle. J'aime aussi qu'on est comme groupe, puis on a des choses à améliorer, puis on travaille là-dessus.
Luc et Richard. Deux petites questions faciles. Goulet a patiné ce matin, puis Novarac a un chandail régulier. Est-ce que tu as des nouvelles sur ces 2 gars-là?
Bien, c'est toujours le statu quo pour Kevin Goulet, il est encore sur une évaluation quotidienne. Puis Divo, c'est sa première journée avec contact. Fait que sa réadaptation se poursuit, puis ça va bien, mais il ne jouera pas encore prochaine cette semaine.
Chandail. C'était pas compliqué, t'as même pas rien dit.
Ouais, hein? C'est une question facile, hein, quand je demande à Chantal de répondre. Le week-end commence.
Martin, on parlait avec Jay Kahn tantôt qui disait en voulant dire les gardiens, on comprend la situation, on l'accepte, on est trop, mais on comprend la situation. Comment tu trouves que ce groupe-là compose avec la situation depuis le début de la saison?
Bien, encore, c'est de bonheur. Jusqu'à date, c'est bien, c'est correct. T'sais, là, on va avoir beaucoup de matchs là, en pas beaucoup de journées. Fait qu'on va voir comment on va gérer ça. Mais jusqu'à date, c'est correct.
Il y en aura 4, je pense, la semaine prochaine. Est-ce que quelque part dedans...
Je sais pas. Je sais pas encore.
Anthony.
Bonjour.
Comment tu qualifierais la part de Josh Anderson sur l'avantage numérique? Qu'est-ce que tu aimes de lui à 5 points?
Ben, c'est un peu de tout. Sa grosseur, son lancer, sa vitesse. C'est un peu de tout.
Jesse Lennon en est un qui a plus de responsabilités en désavantage numérique, mais on connaît aussi ses qualités offensives. Est-ce qu'il y a un scénario selon lequel ce gars-là pourrait être appelé à contribuer en avantage numérique?
Ça se peut. C'est une longue saison.
Martin, quand tu jouais, tu en étais un joueur qui était très compétitif. Ce matin, pendant un drill d'avantage numérique, c'est rare qu'on voit ça de Mike Matheson, mais il semblait perdre patience. Comme coach, le vois-tu d'un bon oeil quand un gars...
Oui, ces gars-là, ils sont fiers. Ils veulent bien faire. C'est des compétiteurs. C'est normal. Puis j'ai été frustré dans une pratique aussi. Je sais c'est quoi. Ça fait partie de... C'est parce que les gars, comme je te dis, ils sont fiers. Puis c'est ça que tu veux. Tu veux avoir des gars qui prennent les pratiques à cœur.
Marty, father time catches up with everyone.
Excuse me?
Father time catches up with everyone. Ovechkin's 38 now. I think you were 39 your last season. You still scored 21 goals. How did you know that maybe father time was catching up with you at the end of your career?
I never felt father time was catching up to me. No. I don't say that being arrogant. I felt like I was you know, I played more in my 30s than I played in my 20s in the NHL, you know. So, and I took my conditioning seriously and improving every year seriously. You know I scored 21 goals my last year, and I felt like I could have done more. And I'm not saying that because I'm from a place of arrogance. It's just, and I'm pretty sure Ovi feels the same way. Like he's shown what he can do at an older age, and you know. You got to watch him when he's on the ice. But the minute you think that father time is catching up to you, that's when it starts going the other way.
So you would have, perfect world, you would have kept playing after that season?
I think I could have kept playing.
One last time we can squeeze it. Do you put any importance on plus minus as a stat?
I mean, yeah, we don't overlook it. It's a stat that tells some of the story. It's not the whole story. There's context to it. But it's something that we keep an eye on.
Your hair didn't give you a sense of Father Time catching up to you. So.
Oh, definitely. My hair did, yes. Yes.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
You had, I guess, somewhat of an idea of what Alex Newhook was about when he arrived. I would imagine you said you didn't want to look at too much video from Colorado. Is there something that you didn't know about him that you learned about him as a player at this point?
I guess, I knew he was, he's got speed, he's got good hands, he competes. Those are obvious. But then you get to be around him every day. Like there's some seriousness about him, about getting better and being good. You can see the passion, the care, and that's fun for a coach to have that in your player.
I know you couldn't necessarily relate with Kirby and with Alex, both first-round picks, that it took a bit longer. Do you think that can have a beneficial impact on what you just mentioned about a player, where it makes them quickly realize that they have to be on it, the way you just kind of mentioned?
I don't know if you can force that. I think that comes from within. Because there's talented players that get picked really high, and they're not necessarily passionate about the game, where they might not reach their full potential because of that. So I think, with Nui, he's just very passionate about it, and you can see it every day.
Take a few more. Eric?
This isn't the first time we're talking about your power play, probably won't be the last. I recall you saying that the best power play is really about familiarity, like looking at Tampa and the way they've done it for years. Mike Matheson was talking, I asked him about player movement, that not getting too locked into the position that you're supposed to take on a power play, and he said that comes down to familiarity. So my question is, as the coach, how do you balance the need for that power play to get better real quick, but also keep the guys a little bit patient with the fact that...
No, I've said it before, like we want to get better at it, but if you're just focusing, we got to get better at it quick, you want to do everything fast. You might not do it, the way you need to do it. So I'm personally, I'm not worried about if our power play is going to be good. I know we will. When is it exactly that we can find consistency? I'm not sure. But it's part of the process. It's part of the growth of our team. And our 5-on-5 game has to be the foundation of our game. But special teams will definitely help you win. And we're really, diving into that a little more this year for sure. And it's a process.
I don't know if you've seen the stat yet, but it took 1,548 games to stop Ovechkin from recording shots in consecutive games. What do you think that means for your group tomorrow, that he's gone 2 games without a shot?
Yeah. What does it mean?
He doesn't have a goal this year either.
Yeah, he's... listen, I'd be very surprised if he's not coming with, a mindset of I'm be shooting today. Got to be ready for it.
Martin, entre un avantage numérique et l'infériorité numérique, qu'est-ce qui peut se régler plus rapidement?
Sûrement le désavantage. Prends moins de punitions. Parce que tu contrôles ça un petit peu plus. Mais je dis pas ça sarcastiquement, là, mais tu sais, c'est... Je sais pas. C'est pas important comment vite qu'il faut que faut que tu sois patient, mais il faut que tu aies un plan, puis il faut que tu éduques, puis il faut que tu enseignes. Il ne faut pas t'essayer de rusher tout puis skipper des étapes. Fait que la game, elle nous parle. Puis on prend les informations, puis on essaie de diriger l'équipe d'un certain bord avec d'être calculé, pas trop leur en donner. Puis on va jouer beaucoup de matchs en ligne, là, fait qu'on va avoir des opportunités pour montrer qu'on s'en va dans la bonne direction. Puis si on a la misère encore, bien, on va continuer à corriger. T'sais. Fait que moi, c'est le processus est plus important que la destination. C'est ça qu'on focus.
Puis, à l'égard de l'infériorité numérique, est-ce que, on entend souvent, il y a un cliché qui dit ton goaler est ton joueur le plus important en avantage numérique. Crois-tu à ça, toi?
Un petit peu, oui. C'est parce que c'est lui qui corrige toutes les dernières erreurs. C'est important, mais c'est pas juste la responsabilité à lui. Il faut faire la job en avant de lui aussi. Il faut lui donner de la prédictibilité un petit peu. C'est ça? Prévisibilité pour l'aider à pas avoir à s'en faire avec les deux bords de la glace puis le centre. Fait qu'il faut l'aider. OK, merci beaucoup.